All right, so I hit the record again, so I apologize. I hit the wrong button.
For the last. Oh, sorry.
Can everybody see my screen now?
No.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
yes. Oh, okay, there we go.
All right.
Is it possible to make it full size or not?
Yeah, I'll do
Okay.
that when we get to that.
Okay.
So, all right, so let's try this again. Hopefully I don't stop the video in the middle of this again. I apologize. Sean's better at this. I'm just getting new to it. So let's start off tonight. Scott, you got the timer, and the first image is from Peter Morse. What does everybody think?
Love it.
It's definitely old. You can see all of the like dings in it. Nice angle. Sky with clouds.
Yeah, I like how he was able to capture all the shadows and all the highlights in the sky and not have anything blown out.
I'm in a class. Bye.
No, Peter, I like it a lot. I think you did a really great job with capturing the entire scene and getting the lighting correctly. Everybody else say?
This was our trip down the Rhine River in Germany.
This was last week.
July. I didn't have anything really current, so I snuck this one in.
There we go.
I shot everything on that trip with my iPhone 13. I didn't take a camera, except for where the one was in my phone.
That makes it even better.
How close were you?
We were actually on a barge in one of the canals. We were tired of walking, so when we found out there was a barge excursion, we hopped on the barge. And so I got this from water level down. Actually, I think it's the low side of the canal that we were on.
Did you see anybody jump in the canal while you were there?
No, I did see a guy paddleboarding though.
Oh,
And do those cause cancer?
what?
Do those windmills cause cancer?
I think so, yeah. Mostly brain cancer. Yeah.
Only in California.
Okay, all right. Very nice shot.
Well
Yeah.
done, Peter.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I was glad I didn't take my camera. Honestly, we did so much walking. I would have been leaving lenses behind.
No, that's not like your standard windmill you see today. That's definitely old right there for sure.
Yeah, these were built in the 16th, 17th century. Some have been redone with concrete, but a lot of them were wooden.
Very cool.
Was it moving at the time or was it still as you passed?
It was still at this time. There are actually people who live in the windmills and they're still used to move water along with some pumps. Still move water from one canal to the other, from the highland to the lowland. It's
I know.
amazing process. This was Kinderdijk, Germany.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yep, someday I will get there.
I can
I'm
book
just
you a
wondering
trip
if
anytime you're
the
ready.
photo, how much of the that bottom portion, like if you had cropped it up just a little bit, what it would do to the, oh, okay. I guess I wasn't, sorry, it was on my screen. It wasn't. There
Oh,
was still
okay.
very little of the water showing on my screen. No, that's better. Okay, good, thanks.
No, I like that you cut the land off here at that 1/3 line so you can get the big aspect, make it look a lot taller, especially in the portrait mode. It's good to shoot these in a portrait mode because they're tall.
Yeah, I did a lot of wide angle with my iPhone 13, and it really did a great job of capturing both sides of the Rhine at the same time.
Very cool. All right. Does anyone else have anything for Peter?
Nice shot, Peter.
Yep, love it.
Very good.
Thanks for sharing.
Nice job, Peter.
All right, Jared, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. I took a trip somewhere.
That's
Well, that's
okay.
why the timer didn't go off.
I knew we were getting close.
He booted me. I got booted or something. I don't know.
I apologize.
I
I
hate this
booted
stuff.
everybody. I booted everybody.
I was
All
just
right.
sitting out there going, what am I supposed to do?
Well, we're only in the first image, so, and we just finished
All
up
right.
with Peter's. All right,
So we'll
so
get the
next,
timer going.
yep, up next we got Alicia.
Ooh. Ooh,
I love the tiara.
yeah,
Yeah.
good exposure, the eyes, very nice.
I cheated. There was a ring light right in front of her face.
That's not cheating. That's helping that's doing exactly what you gotta do is light the face. It's great. Really well done.
So
Did
there's
you-
a
Did
story
you just
here.
say that you lit it and you were apologizing for that?
Maybe, maybe I have problems. Okay, anyway. So I'll make the story very short. So this was a wedding that I did in December. This was the bride. And it was posted in GRCC that there was a wedding coming up. The original photographer couldn't make it, and there was a snowstorm. And so I volunteered to go. And it was a paid wedding, and I had sworn off weddings. And just her story really resonated with me. She was marrying her life partner of 30 years, and she has terminal cancer. And so the wedding was like the last big family get together that they were doing. And I could very much relate because I lost my mom to cancer 7 years ago. And yeah, just, it was a very emotional day. So, and I still get emotional looking at this one in particular. But yeah, that's the story.
Great capture. I think you did a
Yes, it's a-
fantastic job with this.
Yep, beautiful picture and a beautiful memory. Yep, definitely love it.
I think the story behind it just makes it that much more rich of a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I should have warmed it a little bit? I struggle with skin tones a lot. That's why I shoot dogs.
I like the skin tone color. I don't think it's too warm. I don't think it's too cool. I think it's good. I think you did
Okay.
a nice job with that. I think I would say if you wanted to play with the temperature of it, I would a little bit. But again, if you go too far, it may overwhelm the skin.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
But
was
I
gonna
think
say,
you did good.
yeah, I was gonna say that you did such a nice job with her, like her skin, you know, just having it like it looks very natural in this photo. It's not overdone. It's not like you're not hiding the features that she really has, and that is just it to me. It just seems like that is her genuine self, and
Yeah.
you know, that's the kind of photo I think that everybody aims to take when they're just taking a quick shot of somebody and not realizing that like how much you have to set up to take a photo like this to get it to be a genuine photo of someone. So I think this is a really good job.
It's a beautiful photo. If I was going to do any modification, I think I'd lighten that light blue behind her head. It's kind of bright, and bring that down a little bit to put more focus on her face. But that's more of an anthem for joy than one of old age, I think. It's a very nice shot, though.
I think the color of the skin is the shot.
Mhm.
You know, I think it makes it more real from an old standpoint and a terminal standpoint. I think it just adds that little pallor to it.
Yeah,
Part
the
of the
skin is
story.
nice. It's that background behind her on both sides of her head that I think is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, put a vignette on her. If you put
Yeah.
a nice little dark vignette on it, it would kind of get rid of that distractive background.
Mhm.
Yeah, as soon as I shot it and went through these, I was like, oh, the background. Like, I feel like I did everything else except for I forgot about the messy bed behind her.
Yeah. So
I
like
feel
with
like the
vignettes,
background can be fixed easily in editing though.
Mhm. Beautiful
Yeah,
shot.
Thank you.
just tone it down a little bit. Yeah, if you do that a little bit, I think a little vignette compared to before or before after. It does create a little bit of a less of a highlight up here, but I don't find it super distracting, but I think the vignette would help a little bit for sure.
That was 4 minutes.
Helps your focus better.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? Felicia,
No, nice job.
Thanks for sharing.
great job.
Nice
I love
job.
her eyes.
Yeah, great eyes.
The eyes have it.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we got Lisa. What's everybody think?
Very cool.
I like the
Subject.
perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like the depth of fields, the sharp and focusing being right in front and then it's slowly fading. I'm not saying any of the technical terms, but
Depth of field is technical.
Leading lines is great.
It's a very nice leading line.
Takes you right through the picture.
So this is the old entryway, I believe, to Castle in the Clouds. So this is the stone fence that is on that road going into the Castle Castle in the Clouds. Before you get to a bridge, it's the first. I think it's the old entrance. It's one that's got the house right next to it, right by the road.
Yeah, it looks like it's running along the sea.
Oh, is that the entrance up to the falls?
Yes,
Yeah.
the entrance to the falls. I don't know who said that, but yes, it is the
Oh.
entrance to the falls. Yep.
Yep.
And the road is closed right now. You can't drive up it. I don't
Yep.
know if it's
But
open.
you can
during-
walk up it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So I just kind of liked it. And I mean, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's old. It looks like it's been there for quite a while.
I would agree.
And, yeah, and I just love the leading lines and I just liked it. Thought it was pretty cool.
Great
Very
job.
I really like it, Lisa. The leading line not being straight, but curving around is really nice too. Nice effect.
Thank you. There's a beautiful waterfall right before it.
Did you add a vignette at all to this one, Lisa?
I usually add a vignette to everything, so I'm sure I did.
Okay, yeah, it does look like there's one there. It's
I
slightly.
add a slight one to almost every single picture just because.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm almost wondering here if you did something along the lines of like a gradient filter. Since this is like this area here is really bright. So I was wondering if you tone that down a little bit. Or something.
Yeah.
Maybe even using a radial filter. But by using a radial filter or something along those lines, you can kind of shape it and you can tone down your exposure slightly. So that way people focus a little bit more on the wall vice this area here with the snow. And it doesn't have to be super strong, but playing with the contrast and try to get where you want to go, move your highlights down. But
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky that day that it was a cloudy day and not sunny because it would have been a lot brighter if it was sunny.
yeah, and then you get a lot of hot spots. So that might have been more difficult, right?
Yep, it was a nice cloudy overcast day when I was up there.
Yeah, I just think if you darken a little bit here, especially in these tones here, that might actually keep your eye in this area because I feel like I get a little lost in here, but not much. But this is something you could just adjust a little bit. But that's an idea. You could play with the filter there.
Yeah, okay.
I think even a square crop on that might take away some of that distraction to where you were trying to fix it, but I'm such a sucker for rocks and I will always be drawn to it. And I'm finding this so interesting and I love that like really close depth of field where you started up close and you're kind of leaving the viewer longing for more because you're just cropping it so short.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this would be an interesting one. You could probably play with a lot of different crops on there too.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I
4
like that one that you just did too. Cut it down a little bit. Yep.
All right. Oh, goodness, wrong button. But all right, that was 4 minutes. Any last comments for Lisa?
Great job.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, we have Scott Thorpe.
Ooh, that's the ship that became exposed during the storm, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's just, that is that ship. This is just a iPhone shot. Didn't have my camera that day. So
Yeah,
use what you have.
What a ride,
Cool.
right?
Yeah, that was the one that during the storm popped out.
Well,
That's definitely old.
Yeah.
We'll think it sunk last week. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow, that is bigger than what I've seen other pictures. It's really a great perspective of it.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice in black and white.
Let's take a look. So if we want just a straight black and white,
Mhm.
I don't think it has, I don't know, I don't think it has the same effect. I feel like it's now maybe a walkway or something, and you kind of lose the wood character.
Yeah, there isn't enough contrast, the light
Yeah.
and dark,
No.
for black and white. Yeah.
No. And I like it with the color because you can see how you can actually see how big it is with the sky way in the background. I mean, it just to me is a bigger sense of it, I guess.
that's one of the cool things about the perspective that you use, Scott. Here, you're aimed down here and you're close to this, so it exaggerates its size, and it leads out to here and fills the whole frame. So it does a great job of filling the entire image. I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe drop the saturation a little bit instead of going black and white entirely.
Bring it down like,
Just subtle a little bit.
yeah, that's a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, that little pond or whatever it is over on the top left-hand side, water.
Yep.
That's kind of too bright too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Right here, you're talking about?
Yeah, that right there is too bright.
Highlights down that might pull it out.
Yep, you can definitely do the highlights for sure. Just gonna do that. To pull your highlights down, it'll affect the sky too, but I can see it affects a lot in the sand too, which I do like the highlights in this region. So maybe using like using a radial filter and just focusing on this area and bringing this down, expanding, and then just toning down the highlights a little bit here.
Yeah.
Those
It's
the little
actually cropped. It's actually cropped from the original one. So, you know, iPhone, I was like, eh. But it's still better than, not taking the photo.
I agree.
No. Is that still exposed right now? No. Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Not
don't know
sure.
either.
I can never
like
tell
the
my own.
iPhone perspective. You're up close and personal.
Yeah.
How big
I wish
is
I
this
saw
in
it.
real life, Scott?
That's probably, I don't know, 40 feet maybe.
That's
Wow.
It's not that big. The one in York is bigger than this.
right.
Just surprising it's still there after all these years.
When did this go down?
This one was 1905, I think.
Oh, all right. The one in York is way.
The one
up.
in York is
Like
1730, maybe.
Yeah.
There's one out at, I think, Plum Island as well.
And that's 4 minutes.
All right.
Good job, Scott.
Very
job,
nice.
Scott. Very
Thanks.
cool. All right. So next up we have Deb Belanger. Look at this little guy.
So that little guy is as old as me. Pretty old. And the two ornaments on the side, I think I was 6 or 7 years old when I painted a bunch of them, and I still have them to this day. So yeah, they're old. when I was playing with my little guy in the middle, you can see his neck is a little brown. I went and I moved it and I heard crunch. And I went,
Oh no.
super glue, we can't lose him. Yeah,
He looks pissed about it.
he would be too if you crooked his neck.
I love how you frame this with the three ornaments, but then even with like the lights and the little string underneath it, it does a really nice job of framing the entire image.
I really struggled with the highlights with the lights. These are those new LED lights, so they don't get burst like the old lights do.
That's the problem. They're such a bright light source. Even if you shoot at a very high shutter speed, or you bring your ISO all the way down, it's going to be very challenging to not blow these out or have it become very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
You shot this.
Jared knows all about that. The sun's too bright, don't blow it out thing, right?
Oh, don't even start with me.
Sorry, man.
I haven't shot like this with digital. If you stop it down, does it ever like, can you stop it down enough to get like star-like points? Do those lights give you like?
No. They're
just too bright.
You can buy that you can put on your lens that do that.
Yeah, you can get a filter, but yeah.
So you could do that too. Would you? I know you said you don't have all the data for it, but do you remember what you were shooting at for an f-stop, Deb, for this?
I don't, unfortunately, because I had my lens baby out that day.
Okay.
And I mean, I was shooting at all different f-stops.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly don't know. I've got to think that was probably at maybe a 5.6.
Yeah.
Because
So
of the blurriness.
Yeah, if you had shot, if you wanted to get the starburst, like you would see on all these little lights here and here and here, you'd have to be shooting around like f14 or 16.
Yeah.
And then all up to f22. When you shoot at f5 or f4, it's going to make it more of a floodlight.
Yep.
And
And
if you push just I a couple of times, it should give you information on the image, like your shutter speed, the date that it was taken, things like that.
Yeah, I think it's you shot with the lens baby, because like even up here, it doesn't even show the focal length on that too, which is I think is one of the lens things, right?
That's a lens thing, yes. So with the lens baby, you don't get any of that data at all. But I know I tried it in almost every single f-stop that I had, and I think the highest that lens goes is an f16.
Okay. No, I like the composition you use on this one. It's really cool.
Great shot, Deb.
Great shot.
I'll try it next year with my regular lens and see if I can get the bursts on it, but
It just really makes me want a cookie.
I think this guy ate your cookie.
yeah. I don't know, he's a little on the thin side though.
Get that grin
Oh
when
my.
he's hiding it. Very cool. Does anyone else have anything for Deb?
No.
I just want to say thank you. I thought I was done seeing the holiday stuff for the year. But
One last time. All right. So, if nothing else for Deb, we'll go on next. We have Anne is next. This is definitely old.
that's the polar opposite of the last photo. In feeling.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's pretty. That's
I
I
think there's something about cemeteries. I just think they're cool.
I
and it was
agree. Yep.
snowing.
I like the mood, but I think you need to adjust the horizon just a little bit.
I agree.
Agreed. Yep.
Sorry, wrong button. Hit the F, hit the G. If we go in here and we can adjust the horizon, typically the auto is pretty good. Yeah. Get that horizon line right here relatively straight. That's actually, we can improve that. You can come out here and try to get these headstones aligned.
I learned something new in all the years I've been using Lightroom. I've never seen that auto button for that.
Yeah, auto does a pretty good job.
Yep.
I start with that because it limits my time, but if it does go off, you can use the little ruler here, or you can play with the actual toggle itself. But I agree, yeah, the horizon, I would always correct that. It gives a weird perspective if you don't. This must have been from the first storm because there's not much snow on the ground.
Yes.
I really like it. I like the colors. Like it's not. I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it. I'm so bad at explaining things.
They're muted.
Yeah, like it's more muted, but it's not like on the other end where it's like too dark. Because sometimes cemetery you think like really dark and whatever, but it's really pretty. Like I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it has like a monochromatic tone, and it just fits with the snow really well, and kind of gives you a overall feeling, as opposed to just like wanting to see like a specific thing or something like that. So it just has a good overall feeling.
Thank you, Danielle, for that
Welcome.
word. That's the word.
I really like the f-stop that you chose. I like that you can see, it's not soft in the back. You just can kind of tells its story. I like that it was snowing, and I actually like the stones you chose because they're all faded except for this one in the front, George. Whatever his name is. That kind of stands out, and then all the rest kind of frame it and give you some different type of depth. So
What cemetery was this? Was I like not paying attention?
Rochester.
Rochester?
Yes.
I like the placement of the stone you can read too. It's right on one of the corners. That's a fantastic placement for that one, since it's the most legible of all too.
Yeah, I really liked that.
My only thing about it, though, for some reason, I can't take my eyes off of that little yellow thing.
I
And
was just gonna say that.
say the same
like,
thing.
that's
And
the
no
only-
trespassing
That's
posted.
and I would have just like
Mask it out
punched
quick.
it out or whatever, or however. But other than that, like that's the only thing about this that my
Agreed.
eyes just keep going to that, because even though you see some yellow tones with like some of the moss and the stones, like that's the only thing my eyes for some reason are going to, because it doesn't fit the whole that monochromatic thing that we were talking about. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see it until you mentioned it.
No,
You
I
can't unsee it.
noticed it. I definitely noticed it too.
It was no, like everything about this picture is great, because I also, I have a thing, and I literally was looking at a picture of some cemetery stuff for this one as well, but that's literally the only thing I can look at. It's so bugging me.
One other thing I just noticed that you said that. Did you was there a lot of sharpening done to this photo? Because if you look right in this area, if you over sharpen, you can sometimes create these halos. That's a little bit of on these headstones. I don't know if you did anything to them. I would just kind of
That's so
tone it
weird.
back a little bit.
Didn't even see that.
What was this
Yeah.
capturing?
It's f11 100 millimeters, ISO 400 at 1/100th. So
What was the camera body? Just out of curiosity.
say that again.
What was the camera body? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, Ann, are you here to? What kind of camera you use?
She uses a Canon 40D.
Okay. Yeah, so I just be careful when you're processing not to over sharpen or try to brighten too much, because you can get these little halos around the gravestones. It might have been something you selected, and it's just something you do want to take a look at because it's like a chromatic aberration. But other than that, I love your whole placement, everything on here. And as Danielle said, the little things like the side and the back, but I think it's great.
That's 4 minutes.
All right. Awesome, job, Ann. I
Shot.
love it. So next up is my photo. We can skip it if no one wants to look at it.
Nice.
Oh, with the damage and all. That's definitely old.
Yeah, I took this one right after we announced the challenge, and that's about like one of the 2 times I've shot since we announced the challenge. So this is what I came up with.
Solid composition, man.
Yeah, the composition is absolutely gorgeous with the sky, the rocks, the viewpoint.
Was this early morning?
This was at sunset,
Oh, okay.
so probably 5
no one
minutes
there?
after sunset. There was one lady who was sitting in this spot here for a while.
Ah.
I waited for her to move before I.
Nice.
I let her sit there and watch the sunset before I shot. So
I really like the perspective, Jared. I like how you got down low. It kind of leads you right into the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that you did a slow shutter speed, right? To get that blur of the water.
yes, yep. The shutter speed on this one was. It's not going to show, but I believe it was around 1 to 5 seconds, somewhere in that range.
It's a really interesting perspective with those rocks right in the front and how significant you chose to put those rocks in. I think a lot of people would have cropped them out to look past them, and where they're just so interesting, I'm really glad that you kept them in.
I think it leads you right into the lighthouse.
Great. It's a nice curve.
Well, they provide a context for the lighthouse. I mean, the thing about Maine lighthouses is those rocky shores, and you almost have to have some of that to put it in the proper context. And I'm just a sucker for texture, and that just gives you that great texture there in the front there.
Well, and I don't know, Jared, what part of it, you're considering the old part, but obviously it could be in 2 ways, given the texture of the rocks and how they're not super sharp and how they're rounded because of the abuse of, the waves and the water. So that obviously means they've been there for a while, because that doesn't happen overnight. And then of course, with the lighthouse itself as well, and for how long that's obviously been there. So
Yeah, that's what I was going for with that. I wanted to show just the ruggedness, and the rocks have just been there. They've been there forever. We just decided to build a lighthouse on that to protect the sailors coming in and out of port. So
yeah,
and this is an old lighthouse, right? So I loved it. I like the scene. It's just, you could shoot this from 1,000 ways, and this was the one that I came upon that day without other photographers in my way.
Yeah, I believe that lighthouse is over 200 years old too.
Yes.
Because
Although-
I remember George Washington commissioned it.
Although these windows will be less than 200 years old pretty soon when they go to get replaced.
Well, yeah.
I like the composition that it's a spiral that I'm starting at the rocks, and you just naturally go around, see everything, and land on the headlight. So it's so well done here.
I'm a cloud nut too. Those clouds just touch it off for me.
Yeah.
I like that the rocks frame the lighthouse with the bottom of the curve there, and your eye just very nicely goes there with the lines.
Thank you.
Jared, I've seen a lot of pictures of that lighthouse. I had never seen that perspective before. That's stunning.
Thank you very much.
I think it's because he was lazy and didn't want to open his tripod.
I don't. I'm not going to get into that.
Maddie.
I'm sorry. I love you.
All right.
I can tell you don't want to fall on those rocks.
No,
Yeah.
you don't.
No.
They're sharp too. There's some pretty good jagged edges in there.
I love how they create a natural leading lines. It sucks you in. It's good.
That's 4 minutes.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Up next, we have Pat Watts.
Ooh.
And I absolutely, I saw this the other day, Pat, and I was in love instantly, just to let you know.
This is great.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
You nailed the coloring, Pat.
Yeah.
You were asking about that. You did.
That's very nice.
Oh,
Nice
thank you.
composition too. It works you through the whole picture, looking at all the little stuff.
And it was
it was mostly the way that it was. I just pulled a few things out and left them there and put a couple, there was all kinds of stuff in that box.
Oh, there's so many stories in this image. I love it.
My
It's one
father,
of those I Spy games. And I absolutely love it. It's so cool. I love the color.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's
The
you
tone.
chose a great tone for this, and like just the lighting is so elegant. I mean, you can even see this highlight right here on the tackle box, which is not very easy to do, especially with something this old. It's gorgeous. Good
So
placement
who's-
too.
You know what tells me it's old is the license cost $1.
That's what I was
And it
waiting to
also-
get in
right.
on.
1948, $1.
Yeah.
So whose stuff was this, Pat?
It was my father's. He left the service, World War II ended, and he went to, this was in Ohio, so he went from California to Ohio, got a job, and then he got another job in New York. So he was there for a short time, enough time to get his fishing license and get a residency, and then he was gone. So I opened up this tackle box and found all this stuff from then.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I've never really been through it before until last week.
Oh, it's a little time capsule.
And then I didn't have good lighting, so I went down into the basement because I needed something wooden to put it onto.
Definitely
for a light?
beautiful, Pat. Absolutely.
Samantha just messaged that it looks like a tintype, and she's right, it does.
Well, thank you.
What do you
Awesome
use for a
shot.
lighting source in there?
Just the light above the washing machine.
That's awesome.
It's so gorgeously lit. I love it.
I tried to darken it because the background, I didn't want the background to show. It's just a cabinet, and I didn't have anything to use, so I just darkened it
Perfect.
with the lighting.
background is-
Beautiful
doesn't even
choice.
Draw your attention at all.
The shadows, like even these shadows here have the detail in it, and you haven't lost that, which is great. That means it's not overly exposed, and you got it exposed perfect in my opinion. I think it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
I do have a question though on the placement. I had taken a picture before this, and I leveled it a little differently so that the the wicker fish,
Fishnet.
yeah.
Oh,
that-
the basket.
No,
The keel.
above that, the back one, so that was angled up to the right a little bit more, just the angle I was standing at. I don't know if it makes sense, but the line in the, well, I guess it's not making any sense.
No, I
think
didn't
this
change a
makes
thing.
sense. Yeah,
I
I
leveled it. I did another shot where I leveled it a little bit differently so that it was down a little more on the right. And I don't know if that would be any better or not.
I wouldn't change anything on this because you got really nice
either.
lines that lead you in different directions. Yeah, I wouldn't
Okay.
change anything. I think you did a great job composing this image and setting it up.
Thank you.
Somebody else mentioned Jared's image having geometry in it. This also does as well, with you starting by the fishing pole and working your way around. Another thing I like about it is there's equal space on the left side of all of the objects in the framing. And then the fishing tackle box slams off into the right. So it just does what you're supposed to do with an image anyways. It makes you read from left to right. It just works well. Oh yeah, it's just great.
Oh,
Great work.
Thank
Pat.
you.
Hey, Pat, have you called Bass Pro Shops yet?
That could
No,
be the
they
next
may
cover.
not like that I have an ice fishing pole there to pretend that it's a real fishing pole, but
Oh, don't give away your secrets, Pat.
They sell those too. They'll like it.
Right.
I hope you're gonna print that and frame
Yeah,
it.
someone said in the
That's
comments, to make a great print.
Yeah,
It really does.
that needs to be on a wall somewhere.
Yeah, that's a great testament to your dad.
thank
Great
you.
shot.
Thank you.
That's 4
Right.
minutes.
I thought that
Excellent
was a very old fly pole. That's what I know about ice fishing.
Well, this is not ice fishing stuff. It was just the pole that was, but
Oh, okay.
I needed a pole. That's all I could get.
Oh, it worked.
Well, it worked
Thank
out great,
you.
and I love it. Nice job, Pat. Excellent
Yep.
work. All right, cool. Next person up is Susie George. Another good one in my eyes. I love this too.
Wow.
Oh, that's
I like
cool.
that it's black and white right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like how symmetrical it is.
Beautifully. You
That
placed all the.
photo on
I
the
love the
top.
negative at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the arrangement you used on this, Susie.
Thank you. I added some grain and put a vignette around it,
Great
trying to make
choice.
it look older.
Good choice.
Where
Good
did you
job.
get this stuff? Tell us the story here.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's all my grandfather's stuff. He was a photographer,
Oh, I love it.
and
Oh,
I inherited all of that.
that's beautiful.
I think it's kind of funny. It's a black and white image and you've got the photography of colored objects book.
I didn't even notice that.
I like the shot at the very top.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That'll be us tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I love your arrangement too. You get this beautiful triangle going across, but like everything's like slightly different angles, so it makes you keep turning your head every direction. So it's keeping you intrigued every direction you look.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love how it's not specifically like you just didn't line them up in like lines or do just like it's like a unique collage of images basically, and that looks really cool.
Do you
I
guys
tried-
see some of the dates on there? 1903, 1906.
Yeah. Like I said, it's my grandfather's stuff. So,
Wow.
and those were all pictures of my father and his brother
It's awesome.
and my grandmother.
I love old pictures.
Great collection of stuff. Just-
Yep.
It's such a
Let's
nice
take
treasure
it
to
to-
have, and I think you just put it together wonderfully. You just made a really nice composition.
Thank you.
There's a
Great.
lot of stories in there,
Yeah.
and it makes me want more.
Whoever chose this topic did a fantastic job.
Yes, I agree. I don't know who chose it, but it's a great.
I want to see that taking pictures with the brownie camera because I want to see if I can get mine working.
Very nice.
Very, very cool. I love it. Great job, Susie.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Any last comments for Susie?
Wouldn't change a thing. I love everything about
Very
it.
good.
I agree. All right. So next up, we got Danielle. That is definitely brand new. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, wow.
The snow was brand new.
It's just broken in.
Wow. I think
It's
I
like
just
the pre-ripped
spikes.
jeans comes from the factory like that.
I love all the
Yeah, maybe
texture, the
it's a
rust, the cracks.
I'm glad that you liked it, that you decided to do it in color.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
had a few that were kind of black and white, but I just didn't think it had the same feel, and you could really get the like, and it's not even that muted either as far as color. Like that's literally the color of the truck. So
Right.
I didn't want to overdo it because then it gave it like a really nasty like orange like tinge to it, and I was like no. So it needed to definitely be the way that it was.
The blue balances the rust really well.
The
Good color
patina,
harmony.
Rust is the new brown.
Yeah, rust is the new money, I guess.
Yeah.
I like how you cropped like the headlight. And instead of like hitting it just straight on with two headlights, you kind of
Yeah.
off-centered it a little bit.
That small details, but it tells the story, or yeah.
I love your choice of depth of field too, because it drops off right about here. And then so like acceptable focus all in here. So you're staying in this area, and then this back area you could see it pan off. It's not unpleasing, but it's also not important to the image. So I think you did a good job with choice of depth of field.
Thanks. And it was really weird because like the rear view mirror looked really kind of new. So I was kind of bummed out about that. And I wanted to make sure that that was definitely not in focus because I didn't want it, you know, to ruin the look of everything else.
It was probably the last thing the guy fixed on the truck. It was like, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah,
Done.
you guys can have it.
That
So
makes
just out of
sense.
curiosity, where is this?
So randomly it's at some sort of garage. I don't remember the name of it on, what is it, 125? Like next, kind of across the street from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what garage
Oh,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
I just actually saw it.
Yeah, that
Okay.
isn't even the truck I went in there to take pictures of. The more rusty ones, which I ended up taking pictures of a few of them, but this is the one I settled on because it just gave me more of that, you know, old feel. Even though the rest of them are all rusty, I just like the, you know, the different comparisons of, you know, the paint and the rust. But I tried to knock on the door and see if it was okay for them to let me take pictures, but nobody answered. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just try to take some pictures anyway.
Well done.
True Gonic auto dealer.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no one there. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
This is the best kind of auto dealers.
He was at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
No, very nice.
Thank you.
Well done, Danielle. Any other comments for Danielle?
Very nice.
I just
Very
wanted to say that it has great depth as well, especially as you look down the right-hand side, you can see Ford there, even though it's out of focus, you know, because of the depth of field. It just, so that's like an extra added touch. Really like
Thank
that.
you.
That is 4 minutes.
All right, great job, Danielle. I love it. So let's see who we got next. Next we got John Brownlee,
Here we go.
another old
That's-
truck. Love it.
Yeah, this is my first entry since I returned to the club, so.
We're happy to have you back.
Yeah, this was shot just down the street from me. It's by swept what is this? There's a shit, I can't think of the name. There's a stables, Sun Stables there in Dover. And it was parked out there by their lot. And my first thought was to shoot a side view, but when I got down here to shoot, they have moved a trailer right on this left side of it. So I didn't want that trailer in the background, so I just shot it as is.
I like the choice you made by shooting at this angle.
I like the way the tire is twisted so that it looks like it's coming around the corner and heading right towards the viewer.
I was thinking that same thing, Pat.
Yeah, me too.
I love all the twisty tree branches that seem to have grown around it.
It's gonna be engulfed here shortly.
Yeah.
It's seen better days, that's for sure.
Very nice.
Might be kind of nice if you could do I really like doing that effect where you could desaturate everything but a single color. If you could keep like the reds and the yellows. I know it's hard in Lightroom to do, but I think with this print, that would be pretty nice.
Yeah, that could be done. Yeah.
Try to select subject and see if it picks up just the truck.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah, that's tricky. I tried that tonight myself.
You could HDR it too.
I did a pretty decent.
And then invert it.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here.
And then drop the old saturation. Actually, you could use a brush too, and
There you go.
That's nice.
I like that.
That's nice. Maybe a little more
Just a
contrast in it
couple
too.
of clicks. I did pretty good, actually. I'm pretty impressed.
yeah.
No kidding.
I'm usually not a fan of the selective color unless it's really done right. And this is really interesting how it's just that bright red right in the front.
Yeah.
I like that touch. That's interesting.
And I wouldn't go, if you did something like this, I wouldn't even go all the way black and white. Leave a little bit of color in here. Because I think if you go straight gray, it's if you had a little, I think if you leave a little bit, like around 80, enough there just to give you that muted tone.
Really
Then
gets
do
that vintage look.
Do a little vignette on it. And,
Heck yeah, let's try that. Let's see here.
heck yeah.
Throw a vignette on there, Bob. Do it.
Well, let's throw a little vignette in there. And then I always do this so I can figure out where my vignette is. Tone it down, get the positioning right.
I'll actually use radial filters to do my vignettes. And then I feel like, because I can see it and I can control where it is center easier than their tool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because you get changed up so it's not, if something's not centered.
Mm-hmm.
But even adding just a small vignette like that to it, it still brings your attention in there also.
Mm-hmm. Makes it pop a little more.
Even back here, it didn't select as much red back here, which I think is actually benefiting it.
Yeah.
Because you want to be attracted to this part of the image. And I'm not a fan of selective color, but it actually works pretty well with this image.
I actually tried black and white, but I didn't like that. I should have tried this. This works.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Lightroom's got some pretty powerful tools, especially with the new selective subject stuff. So, but no, that's really cool. Nice find, Jack.
I think it's really in your face with the tire and the selective color like that.
Yeah.
Twice as much.
Yeah.
It's
like that thing gave up working right in the middle of it. Like, all right.
Yeah, it's like before, after. I think you get a lot. Yeah, I think you add a lot more to it.
Oh, God, yeah, that's way better. Yeah.
It looks like it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It works well with this image.
I feel like that truck is really interactive with the viewer.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming right at you.
It's like it's straight out of a horror movie. I love it.
Coming to get you.
My kind of stuff.
This tells a story, and it makes me wonder what kind of action was this truck involved in? Because it seems like it's stopped by time, but still very active at the same time. So it's really, really interesting.
It still probably runs.
Yeah.
The guy's probably taking a nap in the cab.
Hope not.
Get out of his way.
All right. Anything else for Jack? Great shot. I love it.
Like it.
Yeah.
I'd say go back and do it again with all the snow.
Yeah.
Yes. I would shoot this more often. I'd try playing with it.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
Even the summertime, it'd be nice with all the growth on it.
Mm-hmm. So. All right. Well, great job, Jack. That was awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, we got Maddie V, and I know exactly where this tree is because I love it.
I know where that tree is, Maddie. I was just there.
I've been waiting to shoot this thing for years.
This is it's cool when it's a pond there too. Awesome.
Wow.
Love that leading line. That leading line is gorgeous.
I like how in the background you see how the stream curves a little bit. The left-hand branch of the tree curves quite a bit, and then the stream in the foreground part of you looks more like the tree branch going up the right-hand side of the tree. It's a little straighter and splits off the front.
But I
But
also,
this scene has just sucked me in for years, and it's one of those things. I know Scott put this in a recent post. It just needed to be under the right conditions. This was the same situation with me. I drove by it the other day, walked the brakes up, and I'm like, sorry, babe, you're gonna have to wait a second. I'll be right back.
No, you're
I
right.
gotta ask
because-
you, did you get down in the snow?
Yes, I did. So
All right.
you know this
Good man.
road. There's cars going by all the time. It was snowing out. I tucked the car off as much as I could off to the side, and then I booked it across the street, and then got down kind of on the other side of the embankment a little bit. But you don't want to go too far because it's really slippery right there, and there's like a good 8-foot drop right into the stream. I wasn't
walk
swimming.
over by the house, and then you can make it back down in there.
Yeah.
Great shot.
Thanks.
I just love though how also, even though, that leading line that Jared was talking about with the water. I love how the water has kind of touched the snow a bit and it looks really sharp, like edgewise, and then you can just kind of tell, like, I mean, knowing a tree, the branches are also kind of sharp, and then everything else looks, you know, smooth and as you go back, but how that looks really jagged and things like that. Looks like it was like ripped apart.
Yeah, it's rough and soft at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I tried straightening the horizon, but if you know this scene, you know that that's the
curve.
Trees and the way that it goes
Right.
off in the background.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that, but I know that this field goes out and it curves and it goes up a hill right here.
Yeah.
So it's gonna give you that. It's a more of an optical illusion than the background because it does angularly go this whole way, but it's because of the tree line.
If you throw the crop tool on there and see how the grid looks, it kind of brings out like almost a Z pattern, almost, if you look at it. Slightly, it's slightly, like it comes off from the left from where the stream is, going to the right, and then the horizon line kind of goes towards the left side, you know what I mean?
It really does. It has such a nice balance to it.
I love the tonality of it too. You mean you've got that leading line, but the fact that there's snow on the branches, you know, I mean, it just kind of sets it off. It just ties that in with the snow on the back and on the ground.
If there's not snow in this scene, that tree gets lost in the background in the meadow.
Sure does.
It's all the same color. It's all the same tones.
Yeah.
Like it just, and even sometimes that stream isn't always have water in it. Sometimes it's pretty dry too. So yeah, just perfect circumstances. I'm like, today's the day. Do it.
Yeah, nice. Very nice, Matty.
It looks to me like there's a crack in the earth with a tree growing out of it. I think it's great.
Yeah, right. I never thought of it that way. That's awesome thought. Yeah.
It's the perfect amount of snow. A little bit more and it would have been lost also. It's just
I
the
like
right
the
amount.
little bits of grass poking up and the little twigs here and there.
Adds a little texture to it. And you did a good job too, not clipping any of any of these whites and these highlights. They're all there's no clipping whatsoever. So there's lots of information. So if you print this, you'll see the detail all through.
Same thing with the blacks too. I tried to slam the blacks down as much without clipping blacks too. Like if you zoom in on the tree, you can still see the texture of it, like the work in the tree itself, the bark and everything. This was a high shutter speed, actually, really quick. No tripod because I knew I was going to be on the side of the road and there was traffic coming. So I was like 1/500th of a second. I think I was at like f8 ISO 100. And I shot it underexposed on purpose, just a little bit, just because controlling highlights in the snow, you know, if you blow it out, you blow it out. If I'm a little bit under, it's going to retain the information enough to be able to bring it back. As long as it's a crispy shot, you can play with it.
Good choice.
Maddie, just one quick thing, only because we've been trained in my other camera club to watch your edges. Off on the right-hand side, you see the little branch sticking into the sea. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that sneaky little boy.
Yeah, so if you're gonna print it,
I'm cutting it out right when we get off this meeting. Thanks, Deb.
you're welcome.
Bye, little tree branch.
That thing's out of here.
It's just
Like it's
so
waving at
funny
you.
how you get trained. It's like, watch your edges, watch your edges. I mean, it just
The only other
great.
thing that drives me nuts about the crop of this is right on the right-hand side, underneath there, where you see the water cut off on the side. If I could have got just the edge of that too, where like the edge of the river, where the edge of the snow loops around, like that
Right
that would-
here.
Yeah, right there, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably, like, I had a little bit of room to play in there, but I didn't want to center focus the tree. I wanted to knock it off to the right just a little bit.
Yep, good choice on that one.
Perfect.
So it was kind of like one of those, like, all right, I don't want to do this wrong thing, but I'll do that wrong thing for the sake of the, yeah, you get it.
Yep.
That's 4 minutes.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, great job, Maddie. I love it. Nice job. I love that tree.
Much appreciated.
All right. Next up, we got Amanda.
Oh, cool.
That is definitely an old coin.
So I realized that this photo is much more stark and uninteresting than most of the other ones or all of the other ones that have been submitted this time. But My husband did buy me a macro lens for Christmas, and so I've been playing with it. And there are definitely some older things in my house, and I took some pictures, you know, at one of the really old cemeteries in Portsmouth. But this coin was actually given to my husband and then to my son from a neighbor that we kind of helped take care of, who was a World War II veteran who never had any family. So he carried this coin as a good luck piece through World War II. And it was given to him by his uncle, who carried it through World War I as a lucky talisman. It's from Spain originally. The back of the coin also is still pretty legible and looks pretty cool. So this on the front is some Spanish Emperor Ferdinand VII. I know nothing about his history, but just thought that, you know, with the story to go along with it, and again, how close, how much detail I was able to get with the macro lens, I just thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is, you know, unlike the other ones and kind of in a negative way at all. I love how you've lit it and it's not overly bright in areas. And there is a lot of detail for what's left on it. And I think it's great.
Thank you.
It's not always the image, the story that goes with it. And that's an awesome story. My goodness.
What are you using for a macro on that?
This was a 65 millimeter. I was doing some playing around with the tripod and stuff because the macro that I have has absolutely no image stabilization in it whatsoever. So if I like blink too hard, you can tell. And I took a couple of other shots of this as well with it leaning up against something semi-reflective and on my counters, which are marble, so they're semi-reflective. And I was able to get some cool shots where the coin is.
I think we've lost her.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But maybe it was me.
Oh, no, it's me.
That's cool. Thank you.
I'm
Did you look
really
at my
glad
hair?
that you I'm really glad that you opted for like the stark black background. And it really just brings your eye in and it just focuses. And I like that you have a landscape shot, like your that you didn't square it in, and that or is it square or is it?
Yeah, it looks like a square.
Oh, it is square. Okay. Sorry, on my screen it was not square. Ooh, that's neat.
That's just a little bit out from a square crop.
Okay.
But no,
I would
that's
say maybe leave
Yeah.
just a little bit more space all the way around. That way there you can, all your borders are the same size. Like
Yep.
the top one is just a little bit shy.
Yeah,
right.
and that was actually a bit of a problem because I had tried to straighten it just a little bit so that the date on the bottom would be a little more over to the left, because when I looked at it, I went, okay, that looks like it's turned just a little bit too much to one side. But when I went to go straighten it, it cut off the top of the coin. So yeah, I realized somewhat belatedly that I had cropped it in a little too far on the top.
if you have Photoshop, one of the nice things that you have about this being a straight black background is you could increase like your canvas size a little bit, and then you could go back in and then you could crop it that way. If you had Photoshop, you could just add a little bit here because this is like pure black back here. It looks like so.
Right. Yeah. And I was messing around with it in Photoshop. Excuse me, when I was trying to, I did try to change the crop size, but I couldn't find one that looked like it was big enough. But again, I was not really getting too far into it. I just kind of went, well, okay, I'm not going to worry too much about the like half a degree that it's bugging me that it's off too much to the right. And, but yeah, I will look into that. Thank you.
It's 4 minutes.
All right, great shot. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we have Carol Martin. What does everyone think?
So this was just a random opportunity. It just sort of fell in my lap last weekend, I think. Pat and I were heading out to do something else, and I said, "Ooh, you know what? Old. I'm gonna go do Thompson Hall real quick." So from the parking lot, I did Thompson Hall real quick.
On the car?
In the email, I sent you a little bit of information about it. I do not have it committed to memory.
It makes me wonder what this would look like in the fall.
Oh, it's beautiful in the fall. Oh my gosh, the campus is gorgeous in the fall.
Yeah, but I mean, like from this angle in the fall.
Yeah,
how
it
it's
would be
trees in
beautiful.
color.
It would be.
The only comment I have, it's too bad that one branch is in the way of the clock.
Yeah, this one
So
here.
it's just a little bit lower.
If you,
Well, I could have
step
moved a
to the
foot or two
right.
to the right, but you know,
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
it was freaking cold. And I didn't pay to park. I did do something. It was a very gloomy, the sky was just flat gray. So I did a quick sky replacement in Photoshop, which I don't do too often, but it worked pretty well.
Yeah, it works good with this one.
Yeah. But you're right. If I had actually looked at it at that close through the lens, I would have, or through the viewfinder, I would have moved over a foot or two, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, that's just something to think of the next time too, right? I mean, that branch right there, I don't think it's super.
Yeah.
It would be nice if you could see the whole clock, and as you said, one step to the right probably would have moved this branch right over to here, and then you'd be able to see the whole clock, and that window wouldn't matter as much.
Yeah. Actually, I have a couple of others. I think maybe I'll take a look and see if I did that in any of them.
Can you tilt that vertically just a little bit?
Tilt it. Yep.
Yeah.
Hold on. Like this.
That straightens it just a little bit. It makes, yeah.
Yeah, because now I'm looking at this column here to try to get that to line up. You can also probably. So this is a cool tool you can use to try to level your photograph slightly. And then you grab here. Yeah, that's gonna distort it too much, I think so. But yeah, you can play with the vertical adjustment here, and then that'll help straighten it a little bit because it's kind of point. You shot it at a very wide angle, so that's why it gives that little point to it. Not too much.
Sometimes just a little bit helps, you know, quite a bit.
Well, I was definitely aiming up as I was standing in the parking lot.
Oh,
oops.
And then crop down slightly to get rid of the white borders. Slide to here. Let's see what that looks like. I missed the spot up here, but yeah, tilting it up a little bit will help sometimes straighten some of your lines that kind of will bow in on themselves or bow out, depending on what kind of lens you're using. But no, I like this little. I love this photo. I like the little path that leads up to it. It's a good little story behind it too. I think you did a really good job capturing this.
That's 4 minutes.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Carol. That was a great photo.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Samantha Sutherland.
Oh.
Okay, so this is just something I have on my side table in my living room. The pearls are from a job. I used to work at Storyland as a teenager, and I was Cinderella, and I might have forgotten to give those back. But they've been worn by many Cinderellas before me.
You
And
were a bunch of the presidents.
and I lit it with I just got a Flashpoint AD400 light, so I just did it straight on. I wanted crisp shadows, but I couldn't get the table against the wall any closer. So you get that kind of weird haze, but yeah.
Was the flower from something special?
It might have been. I save all the flowers that I get and dry them out, so I just have a lot.
I love that. I do the same thing.
Even got some baby's breath in there to add a little more texture around the rose. You did a really good job controlling the light too. Nice little highlights down here.
I was just thinking that.
I'm just wondering if it's just a little too hot right here, but that should be something you could correct. But it's not blown out when I zoom in, so it might be just something I see from afar. You can still see details in here.
I'm down in the highlights and bring that back.
Yeah, let's just take a little quick stab at it.
I like it. I think it's really cool, and I like the shadow, and I like that you can see the reflection of the shadow and the reflection below it too. I think it's cool.
I like all the textures in it.
I do too.
Very
This
cool.
a little bit.
Nice composition.
Very nice composition.
The shadow on the wall makes it almost look like something from the you'd see in an old 30s movie. You know, type
Yeah.
of light they had back then. Reed would probably know about that more than anyone else. So
Thank you very much, Scott. One of these days, I'm gonna cut your arm off and count the rings and see how old you really are.
good. Oh,
Wow.
Oh man, no
This would've been a
self-portraits
good-
tonight either. I didn't see any self-portraits out of you two tonight, so that's a good sign.
I almost put a picture of Scott up.
It would have been
Thank
number
you.
one.
Thanks, Manny.
This would have been an interesting shot for the symmetry assignment we had.
So it's also been really good for still life, because that was another one
Yep.
that we did. And I did my still life photo with same thing. I used roses like this. It was my wife's bouquet from our wedding that I photographed. So it reminds me a lot of that photo I took. I love this.
I
I
really
have
Very
a
nicely done.
question. How close was your light here?
It was pretty close. It was probably, I don't know, maybe 2 feet away from it. I was holding it and shooting at the same time.
Okay, yeah, if you can, to get the sharper shadows that you want, move your light back further.
Further?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
because
that make it
the
so
closer your
smaller?
light is, the bigger it is in respect to the subject. So it becomes, that's what gives you the softer shadows.
Okay.
Also, it might help with the hot spot on the front of it, because the further away it is, the smoother the fall off is going to be.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, I would try that just to see what it looks like.
And if you could also use a smaller light too. A bigger light will create a softer shadow. If you use a smaller light, you should get a more crisp shadow. So something else you could possibly try. But
it's
really,
4 minutes.
very nicely done. Well, thank you very much, Samantha. Next up is Dwight. Now,
Yes.
this is old. I love it.
I think you can almost smell that photo.
The mildew.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like, oh my God, I can smell them.
I would be afraid to open any of that or to even handle it in general.
Love the expression of the woman's face in there too. This is cool, man.
But I think I think what everybody's already been commenting on really gives the authenticity of the fact that we know it's old because we can smell it. So
Yeah.
Good point.
That a magazine, some small books.
These are old pulp magazines from the 20s, Argosies and Adventure Pulp. And I thought about, I like the way when you stack them, the edges of the pulp paper are frayed and things. And I was going to take something like close up of that. That didn't seem to work out. I ended up with this. I just tried different things. And I caught this, a little bit of this old art too. So that kind of gave me something from the 20s and 30s as well.
I like how you composed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you chose on the top, the magazine for the top, that you chose the woman looking off. So it kind of brings you around the image. You know, instead of one with words or whatever, I think that's a good cover for the top.
Agreed.
It's a really cool palette of colors too. I think this would be another really good one to see, just desaturated just a little bit, not too much, but just a tad.
Yeah, I
Hey,
played around with.
Jared, did you see the message from Jacob?
Okay.
He sent you a message on Messenger about
Oh.
moving his picture up.
Yep, I can do that.
Any chance you can push mine to last or even next? Work's picking up, and I'd like to hear everybody's input.
Okay. Let's see. Let's just finish this one up and then we'll find Jacob's and we'll go to that next. If we pull the saturation down a little bit, yeah, I think that could help you a little bit. I wonder if vibrance would be better. No, I think saturation is better. You could pull it down a little bit.
So cool.
Maybe just clean up the couple of dust spots on the table.
Yep, I was thinking that.
And they're pieces of the paper. So it was like, well, do you want to clean them up or do you just want to leave them there?
I would say if it's not helping the image, get rid of it.
Yeah.
In general, dust spots up here, I'd be more inclined to keeping because it just shows how old it is. But where it's on the table, yeah, maybe even put in like instead of this wood grain with the table, maybe put like a tablecloth over it too, so that way it's not as distracted, so that could match the photo too. Because you could get a little bit lost in the wood grain. That's something you could consider as well.
Just kick out one of the magazines and just fill the whole frame with the stuff.
Yep. Very, very cool. All right, any other comments for
Yeah, how'd
Dwight?
you come across these things? What's the story? I'd love to know.
That's 4 minutes.
It was a quick story.
All right, so let's go to Jacob next. Here. So Jacob, you're next. Actually, you're 2 away, so we can get his set. We can do his so I can go back to work.
How far are you now?
Yeah.
This is
One came out there, went by the unit number and stopped it. So about, I don't know, 500, 600 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Copy, just stand by. Copy.
Look at this little happy face up here. I don't think this building is as happy as this smiley face up here.
Wow. The title of this thing should be called Crushed It.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so cool, man.
Maddie, you're a one-man show.
Yeah, I pass by the house like almost every single day. And I just love it. Like, and I had to be quick about it too. Like, I was literally shooting this out of the window of my car.
I pulled over for this.
Yeah. So
The snow gives it such a nice touch too. Just I mean, like it's snowing itself, not just the snow in the scene, but
Yeah, once it started snowing out, I was like, "Yep, I'm not going to go out looking for anything. I know exactly where I'm going to go."
I'm just surprised the chimney's still standing up at the angle it is. Or,
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
that is. I think that thing's seen some things.
any of it for that matter. Wow.
And if you zoom into the door, I think you can see like an old light fixture.
Yep, right here.
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, you get the oil tank out front. It's easy to get oil delivered at that rate, you know.
Like even just like the shingles that just that close up when you just went right in, like it's very clear and it's very interesting. Like I almost find that this is more dramatic than the whole house.
Yeah.
I love that image, like right there, you know.
Oh, that smiley face is hilarious.
Poor little guy.
Somebody was brave to get up there and do that. I don't even care if that was done in 1992.
I guess that's called a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Just
Look at
slap
the-
some paint on it and be all set.
Look at the cool,
Fine, it's fine.
the cool symbol on the chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's
One
some
happy.
club.
I think that's like something that came out of the 60s or the 70s.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, they definitely got to trim up the bushes in the front yard on this house, though. You know, if they get some curb appeal.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's what it's missing is landscaping.
100%. There's nothing wrong with the structure. The structure is fine.
It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets New Hampshire.
Cool image, Jake. I love it.
Thanks.
Good job.
Any other comments for Jake?
Great find, man.
And all right, so next up we have Brittany Wellwood. This was the one I was gonna have you hope you chose, Brittany, for the critique tonight when I saw the photos.
Yes. So this camera is from 1957. It's my grandfather's camera. I have not at all used this yet. I'm actually very excited to get some parts for it so that I can use it. My goal for this photo was to mainly focus on the details of the lenses. Yeah.
I like your composition on this one. Like you put the two lenses there, and it's not showing the whole camera either. So that way you're focusing it on the lenses.
Yes.
What did you? What was this shot at? For it was f1.8.
Yeah.
Did you shoot this with a phone or?
Actually, I have one of the on my because I have a Rebel T5, no 7, and they make like a really small like this one, but smaller of the lens.
Yep.
I don't know too much about my Canon camera, so I can't really.
Nope. Well, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
We could help you with that for sure. If you next meeting, bring your camera and we can show you some of the cool, some of the features of that for sure.
Absolutely.
So it's like the one thing I would say, I love this image. I like the composition you chose. It was the depth of field. If you're trying to do both these lenses, I would have just stopped it back a couple and shot more, probably around like an f5.6. So that way you could see this, because you could see how it's a little blurry here in this section, and it's because it's so close to the camera that this is in focus, but this is out of focus here.
Yeah, well, actually, with that lens, there is actually like some water damage in that lens. So
Oh, okay. All right.
I
Oh, it's
tried
an
to do
art
my
lens.
best to like try to clean it up, but no matter what I did, it kind of made it like more smudged. And I can't really do anything on the inside of the lens.
I wouldn't recommend doing anything on the inside of the lens.
The
I love-
cool
I
thing
love-
about this photo is I know what that camera feels like. What it feels like in my hand, you know, the go to focus, the resistance in the lens and stuff like that. So it's always fun when you can hold something like that.
Looking in the comments, it's looking like she's tickling the nostalgia buttons of all you old folks out there. Oh my goodness. I didn't mean old folks. I'm sorry, it's not those folks.
Just reading Scott.
But I mean, you know, you can hear the f-stops when you go through them and stuff like that with these. It's
You mean, does it have the silent shutter?
yeah. Yeah.
There's so much character with this camera. I love it.
Yeah, my grandfather's the one who got me into photography. So I'm excited to use his camera, especially where he died on the 7th of this year.
Sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
Except for with him, like he was teaching me on those digital cameras, which I hate those things. Like
Film is
absolutely hate them.
Film is a whole different way of photography, and it's not as forgiving as digital photography. So if you can master that, then you'll be doing just fine if you ever decide to pick up a digital camera all the time. So no, I love this. This is a great shot.
Thank you.
There's so much texture in it. It's very visually interesting, and you keep looking around, and you keep like you almost want to touch it. Like there's so many things happening. It's so interesting.
You made Scott want to pick it up anyway.
Very cool.
That's cool. You could tell it was
Poor
used,
Scott.
too. That doesn't look like something that just sat in a bag for a long time. You know what I mean?
That was loved.
I
That was
actually
definitely
have the bag and like the flash, like I have all the attachments to it.
Even better.
I love old cameras.
And you can tell that's from the 50s because it doesn't just say Pentax, it says Ashia or whatever it is on the top. Because I remember the Pentax K1000 when I was shooting film, and it didn't have that on top, it just said Pentax. So,
But that thing weighs quite a bit too.
That's 4 minutes.
Very nice.
Excellent job, Brittany. Thank you very much. Okay. So next up, we have Jim Andrews.
Yeah, man.
Nice. This is actually a pocket watch that one of my relatives had. And I was testing out a camera and a lens that I picked up on eBay. So I was just checking the lens out and also working on another project that I'm working on for black and white. And this came out. So I said, might as well use this for old too. And this is what I came up with.
Great choice. This is fantastic.
Jim, I want to say that your composition on this is fantastic.
Thank you.
The texture and the crispness that you're getting within like all those fine little details, like you know that there's so much time and effort that was taken on those details. Yeah, right there. Like that's awesome. I love it.
Well lit, especially with a metallic surface. It's hard to capture that sometimes.
Yeah.
Thanks. The by the 8 and the 9, you couldn't see that. So what I did was I tried to bring that in with Lightroom and the eraser tool and bring that detail back in. It maybe get a little bit smudgy there. I'm going to work on it when it comes down to the final post that I need to do for the other project. But other than that, I thought the lens and the camera worked quite well, and there it was.
All right, I have a
Does
question
does
for
that
you.
clock work? Does that watch work?
No.
That's where I was going. Why did you pick that time?
Why did I pick that time?
Mhm.
It was just on there. I do have an Elgin that's of the same vintage that will work for a little bit, but they want $500-600 just to get the thing working again. So
Yes, I have one similar to that from my father, and I took it down to have it fixed. It cost me $700 to have it fixed.
sure.
I would imagine it's quite the lost art these days, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's probably one guy that's, probably, in his 90s that does it.
With really tiny hands.
Yeah. So I wasn't, I wasn't sure with the silver and, whether it was still a little bright, a little hot, say up in the top, but
Yeah, right here.
yeah, up there and right along the hinge. The
You're
bottom
gonna-
hinge.
Yeah. Oh, down here. Yeah. So those specular highlights, you're gonna get, unless even if you use the diffuse light, you'll probably get that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really challenging shooting that any sort of metal or metallic surface. You're going to get lots of reflections, and it's just a matter of where do you want that reflection, and you don't want it in like areas where this detail is, but where you do have it is, in my opinion, acceptable areas because there's no real detail in those spots.
Okay, thanks.
And it's a representation of reality too. Like that is what's actually, you do see that in reality with light. Light does do that.
Yeah.
And I also think that like right where you have like that really, really hot spot right at the top.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right next to the darkest dark. That's almost like that, like that, I don't know. It's like a fight between the light and the dark right there.
Event
That
horizon.
It's event horizon, yeah. That it's really interesting. Like it doesn't really distract. You expect it to be there, but where it is next to the, like some of the darkest dark in there, it's still interesting. It doesn't take away from it.
It shows its metal. You nailed it right there.
Thank you.
That's
There are
cool.
ways. Yep, great. Yeah, there are ways to get rid of that by changing your position or your lighting, but I think it does a nice little touch to it, so I wouldn't change it.
All right. Thanks.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So next up we have Athena. Athena, tell us all about it.
Cool
Well,
composition.
I came behind Scott and decided to do the same thing. So this is that same shipwreck, just from a different angle. It's from the exact opposite side of it.
Amazing how a shift in perspective can change your entire world.
Very cool.
I love the contrast in this.
I like this one in black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
Like the way it brings out the ripples in the mud or the sand. Or is that water?
Water.
Both.
Yeah.
All right, so I was half right. No, I like the way that.
I like the angle that you have with the light shining too. It kind of creates more depth of field with that lower light. So you can see it coming from this direction, and then get these beautiful, like the tones going this direction. I think you did a good job with the directional light for this.
Strong composition.
Did you use a polarizer filter? No,
No.
Athena?
Nope.
There is that one little hot spot Looks like right there, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You could probably, with that little hot spot, it's a little brighter than I personally like. But let's see. Little gradient. Rotate it. And then just tone that down a little bit. Bring the highlights down. Not too far. But that makes it, I think, a little bit less noticeable. Well, probably shouldn't have. You could also kind of, if you're in here with this, you can subtract, or I mean, you can add just like a luminance range for this, and then you can select these pixels. So when you're up in the mask, you're only affecting, oh, I didn't do something right here. Hit the wrong one. You can, sorry, you can go in here with the luminance, and then you could subtract some of these darker colors from it. Adjust it where you like, and then you can make your highlights, and you're not really affecting as much. It'll be more selected towards those, so you can make your adjustments a little bit more accurate. But yeah, hotspot you could tone down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I tried some new editing that I don't normally do on my photos, and I was pretty proud of myself that I got a whole bunch of things to disappear because there was bubbles in the water and there was footprints in the sand, and I love the composition of this one so much that I had to try to take those things out, and it wasn't things that I could have changed when taking the photo. It was such a really interesting. I mean, it's really not that big, but it's just kind of impressive that it just has so much history to it, and I just wanted to try to capture it in some sort of way that that made people want to go look at it.
That is 4 minutes.
Very nice.
Very, very nice, Justina.
Thank you.
Funny how two different angles of the same thing can be so different.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, we have Tom Sorensen. That, hey, Scott, is that yours?
No, that's not mine.
No. So this is on a little back road that I like to go down to and shoot a lot. There's a wire bridge down by me, and I've shot this a few times, summer, fall, and wanted to do it again this winter. And I went out after the storm, and there was a little more snow than I would like. I wish I could have got more of the truck in the image, or the Jeep, or I'm not even sure what make of vehicle it is. It's actually got like a wooden bed on it. I wish I could have got more of the truck. This was a roadside, you couldn't even get in. Private property and posted, so.
Looks like an old Willis Jeep from the grill.
Yeah. Bird.
I like how you framed it too, or the trees and everything kind of naturally frames the vehicle itself.
It does. It's got a nice tunnel into it.
I would almost think if we were, one thing I would like to change, or wrong button, would be this limb right here.
One right in the center. Oh, I was gonna think the one in the center.
Oh, this one right here? Yep,
Yeah.
that one too. I didn't even notice that one until you called it out. I
Yep.
would come in here and just see if you can knock this out a little bit without interrupting the rest of the image.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because the new clone tool for
it's great.
that does a really good job. So it ends here at the bumper and doesn't go into the white as much. You can play with a little bit more, and then this one should be a little bit easier with the snow. and calm down. Just quickly doing that. And you can just touch up that other one down here. But I think that helps. I think that helps with some of the distractions you have.
Well, helps frame it too a little more.
Yeah.
Brings your eyes more just on that, not everything.
Yep.
I would
Yeah.
offset it just the tiniest little bit. It's almost too centered for me. Like if you just moved it over just a little bit, maybe to the left, like just down to the left into that little, you know,
Something more like here.
oh, that's so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it really sets itself into that photo just a little bit more, where it's so centered. It's not that I don't think that there was thought into it, but I think there's more thought to it when you put it in that grid better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's a Jeep thing and I don't understand.
Oh, I actually edited this like about an hour before this critique. I had shot it a few days ago, but I've been down sick for a few days, so I didn't have a chance. So I just edited this. I did a really quick edit on the whole thing, so just to kind of get it out.
It's a really interesting image. I love it though.
You definitely darken the background, right?
Yeah, I did my radial filter from the center of the Jeep outwards and inverted it.
Good choice. Yeah, I think if it was when it's a cloudy day like this, where there's some snow falling, it creates a lot of depth in the color range. There's not many shadows. So by doing that, I think you really exemplified the vehicle itself.
I agree. I also like how it's a little bit lighter, like right in the front on top of the hood. Your eye really kind of draws you in. It's not ultra bright, but it still gives you kind of a little place to look, not just because of the yellow grill.
It helps lead you into the center of interest of the vehicle itself.
Exactly.
That's 4 minutes.
Nice shot, Tom.
Thank you.
Good work.
All right, next up we have Mr. Reed Cooper.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, well, that is.
That is.
I was lazy. What can I tell you? I mean, like I ran out of time. I just ran up there this morning and took some shots and this morning, and that's what I got. So
that works, man.
So Reed, I know you sent me two, but I like the tonality on this one. I wanted to talk about this one a little bit more than the other one, so I selected this one for the critique.
yeah, I kind of like this one better than the other one too. The other one was too sepia, but I was trying to get something together, so this one turned out well.
I really
grain
like this. It's got
texture in
that
that
composite look to it.
The grain texture in that is beautiful, and I love the white vignette on it because it really does put it in a period of time.
Wow, man.
Personally, I'd like to see it straightened a little bit.
We can do that. Let's take a look. Is that the direction you were going, Ben?
No.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
My
it's
idea
great.
is
It means something to every
a little
person.
bit less.
Yeah.
Drop it down to like 1.5.
All right, let's just type it in. It's easier that way. Boom. Yeah, because when I did the auto, it went the other direction I was anticipating. So I was like, I don't think Ben wanted it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, leveling that out I think helped a little bit for sure. Although I cut Reed's name out a little bit, but I mean,
That's
you got
all right.
lots of detail.
I'm Mary. I'm used to abuse. Bring it on.
That's all right. It's just between you and Scott, abuse. But, no, you got nice sharp focus all the way through. Good choice. Good choice of depth of field on that.
I shot that from the road without getting out of the car. The snow was too deep.
I bet Ossipee's covered in snow right now.
Yeah, like I said, I just rushed up there this morning and kind of hurriedly took some shots but I couldn't get out of the car because the traffic was too heavy and the plow had blocked the driveway to this. I just pulled over to the side of the road and shot out the truck window.
Did you use the standard sepia thing that comes with Lightroom, or did you use a preset or something?
This one, I went into Nick filters and I took it to an IR effect.
Okay.
And that's what gave it, I think, a lot of the contrast is that IR effect.
Really nice, Reed. Really love it.
Thank you.
Good shot, Reed. I like it. I like the grainy texture you added to it. It creates a different ominence to the whole image itself.
Right. I was trying to give it a more of an older look, so we put a little grain in there.
Nice shot, Reed. Did that, yeah.
Go.
Anybody else have something for Reed?
Looks
Right.
great.
Great shot, Reed. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Great shot.
All right, Mr. Kramer, you're up next. Ooh. Love the depth of field.
Or lack thereof, for that matter. Wow, that's amazing.
Is that actually an open book or a cracked binder?
That's a cracked spine.
Okay, cracked spine.
Yeah, this is over at the Governor's Inn, or the building next to it. I was there at a Christmas party, and they got a bunch of old books over there. They've got like a 4-inch thick Webster's Dictionary from 1927.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was a Christmas party, and I was a little bored, and I brought the macro lens, so did a little
bored at a Christmas party. Okay,
that's been great.
Makes sense. Need to start drinking.
Oh, I was.
Okay.
But yeah, just a handheld shot with some incandescent lamp nearby.
I love the shadow and the split and the little highlight on the left side where it's cut or cracked, if you want to call it that. That's really, really cool.
Very cool subject. It's
I like the square format, and it's right directly in the center.
I can't say I've never seen another picture like that.
I can't say, or you can say.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing, wasn't it? I can say that I have never seen another picture like that.
There you go.
Thank you. I'll get there eventually. I'm a
That's-
product of the North Carolina school system. What can I say?
I'm gonna take that as the highest of compliments. Thank you.
I like the fact you left a little bit of the bookshelf here too, just to show that it's sitting on there instead of cropping up any further. I think that was a very good choice.
Yeah, when it came up on the screen, I just thought it had power and impact. So it should pop right up. I love the vignette. Choice of depth of field.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I don't want to use a pun, but it speaks volumes.
Well done.
What is the f-stop on that?
What did I say that was?
3.2.
Yeah. Yeah, 3.2. That's with the Nikon 105 MC.
Wow, that really like cuts
That's
off
so
the
crisp.
fine line, huh?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, there's some awesome textures right in this part of the spine. I'm just intrigued by.
Yeah.
At 300 zoom, I mean, it's so as Matt would say, crispy.
That's an image in itself right there. That's so cool.
Yes.
I feel like the book is upside down, the writing on it.
I think it is.
It may very well be.
Okay.
That's how they know they've read it. These ones are still need to be read. This one was already previously read, so they put it upside down so they won't grab it.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Right. So anybody else have anything for Ben?
Great choice of a subject.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
very nice.
interesting. Yeah.
Great.
Well done, Ben.
And interesting to have such a calm subject come out of such a chaotic situation. That's pretty cool, dude.
Thank you.
All right, so we're on to our final image of the night, and this one's done by Shelly. What does everyone think of this?
I think it's old.
I think so too. Looks like lead paint.
Yeah,
Probably some asbestos in there too, but I like the way it's cropped.
I do too. I like the tension in this photo. It's a good, really sharp horizontal and vertical lines that are creating the tension, and the way that it's cropped is, I think is that dead center?
It's just like a little bit.
Just a little left, yeah. Oh no. And the contrast, the colors and stuff like that with all the textures, I like that a lot.
It's the first time I picked up my camera in 3 years to shoot. You know,
What a
'cause
shame.
yeah.
I
So
was gonna say something about that, Shelley, that I was very happy to have you have your camera back in your hand.
yeah, and I only had it in my hands today for 15 minutes. I had a doctor's appointment and then I had a class.
But you know what? You had it in your hands, didn't
Yeah.
you?
So that's what I took. I went to this old barn. I had it, or I knew where I was going, but they had put a parking meter there. So I couldn't take the whole building. So I just looked around. But yeah, I didn't have time to edit or anything, but really.
No. Nice
Maybe-
job.
Maybe crop the left just a little bit to get that gray band out of there.
That's
See
the
right out
window.
the white.
I actually, that's a little bit of the window, Scott.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually left that, but yeah, I could. Yeah.
Let's see what it does if we do crop
I would
that out
say
a little
almost
bit.
crop that little bit, but
Okay,
I would
I'd-
also
I'd-
keep that line absolute center just as it is too. I like that juxtaposition between like the light and dark, left, right, black, white kind of, play on it.
Yeah, my intention was to go black and white, but I just didn't have time to. play
No,
with it.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
To-
like the
to-
horizontal, vertical, that's really neat.
To take it just a little bit step further, if you were to horizontally center it on the that black line right there
This
where your
one?
cursor is.
Yep.
And make it a square crop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're making my symmetry tick, dude. Yeah.
Pull this out slightly, down to get the maximum amount.
Breaking all the rules, and I love it. I love it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Yeah, I grabbed my camera and all I had on it was my 24. So I just said, all right, that's what I'm shooting with. Yeah, I like
you know
that.
what? If you haven't grabbed your camera in that long and you went out and you still grabbed a picture, even when you were like, oh, it's not the thing I wanted to take a picture of, good work out of you. That's the first step.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Adam.
I like the
really
fact that
feel
you
like
challenged yourself too. You're like, I'll get for 24. This is what we're shooting with today. Some people are
Yeah.
like, well, I need this camera lens. No, you said I got this today, so let's make it work.
Good for you, Shelly.
Yep.
Awesome job, Shelly.
Yeah, thanks. I figured it's January. Got to start.
Yeah.
Start the year strong. Yeah, you could play with the crop on this for a while and try different things, different angles, different ways you want to do it. Even like rotating the image too.
Yeah.
You can like rotate it, and it's still gonna be on that same plane. to
Oh,
create
that's
even-
cool. That's cool.
Or if you went like
Oh, yeah.
that.
Oh, I like that too.
Oh, I love it.
Actually, I'd probably just pull this side down a little bit. A little more tension there.
Ooh.
Do you make those noises when you edit? 'Cause I do the same thing. Oh,
Yeah, I then I walk away because I'm frustrated.
yeah.
But no, you could play with this a lot of different ways and come up with interesting concepts.
It's just a
Yeah,
really
that-
nice pattern texture. Constantly, yeah, you could play with the composition and get so much out of it. And it's a really nice image, regardless that you could just play with it and just play with that texture and colors.
You should print that crop just to confuse the hell out of anybody that buys it. They're like, I don't know how to hang this thing. However you
I
want.
hang it this way, that way. You tell me. I didn't put a wire on it. You tell me how you want to hang it.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Good feedback.
Is now I want to take a picture of a level and mount it crooked in the frame.
Yes.
Just aggravate every carpenter you possibly could know of.
Or to bounce off of the, you know, how to frame it and how you hang it, is that in the back of it, you would then have to like put the wiring in every single direction so that they have to decide how to hang it.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a choose your own ending book, but with hanging a print.
Like, here's your wire and your hanger. You figure out where you want to put it, how you want to mount it.
You do the work.
Exactly.
I'm done.
Awesome photo, Shelly. Great job.
Good job.
Glad to have you back participating. It's awesome.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
So, any last comments for Shelly?
Same thing you said, man.
This was a really great challenge. I'm really happy with all the images that I got to see tonight.
Stop sharing, but hide that and open up a little more. So, all right. So great to see everybody. Great job with the challenge this month. I think it was a success. So many different images were chosen tonight. So congratulations to everyone who participated tonight. Awesome turnout, 24. I don't think we've had that many in a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
So we got next month we have intimacy. So please interpret that however you want to. There's trying to leave them open-ended for everyone so they can get creative. And as one last reminder, our next meeting is February 8th. We'll go through Lightroom. So if you guys have any questions, please write them down and bring them with you. We'll do the tutorial and we'll leave open-ended discussion at the end for Lightroom questions and answering sessions. So, and that'll be at RPAC. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. And thank you very much for everyone showing up tonight.
Night. Night.
Night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Take care.